And today there's something else on the table, and it's had to do with some military officers, persons expected to protect our peace, deciding to rather create some other form of news we would ordinarily not want to talk about or share with the audience, but because of its nature, we've had to deal with that situation. And so today, I was not there. I do not know what really happened, but we have someone who has much more information on that very issue and is going to share with us, and is going to form the basis upon which we ask that all-important question as to whether or not you feel safe and what it is that the country can do based on your own recommendations to ensure that there's peace in the country and that citizens such as yourself and myself feel safe in this space. And so we'll delve into that in a short while. But let me introduce our guests in a brief while. Manas Azria is an award-winning, a multiple award-winning journalist. He's joining us in our conversation today. Paul Boateng is the Executive Director for the Africa Center for Security and Intelligence Studies. He will also be joining us, as well as Isaka Abubakar Bipoli. He's a presenter with Radio Wa in the Upper West region. He will give us a vivid account of what it is that happened on the said day. And then also we'll hear from Ahmed Mustafa. He's the NADMO Director for the Upper West region. And there's a very peculiar reason why we have that gentleman joining the conversation. We'll let you know in a short while. Now, though, I want to give you a wrap of what may have happened in the Upper West region sometime yesterday. And then after that, we start a conversation with the reporter on ground.
And so, they don't do no. How? Thank God we are taking short of this. How? And so you just have to brutalize this person like this, without even telling him the reason why you are being assaulting him. This is unacceptable. How? I don't know.
Okay, that was not an excerpt of a Nollywood movie or a Gollywood movie. Those were real soldiers, at least I'd like to think so, showing their, some would say, crutchy powers, that, yeah, they have the will to do what they do, and so they are doing it. And so they decided to beat up a few people. Maybe we didn't see what we saw. Maybe we didn't see right. Maybe the story is not as we think it is, or we've been told it is. So let's hear from one of the people who were beaten up. In fact, the victim in here has been speaking to us. So let's hear his voice and what it is that really transpired from his perspective.
We met them there. It looked like they invaded the whole town. They were all over. But we met them at Stanbic Bank side, and they were truly beating people. They could drag you out of Kambu and beat you. If you're riding motor, they get hold of you, they beat you. So we decided to drive further to the traffic light area, and we saw that some people were actually on ground, rolling on the ground. This hot sun, they were rolling on ground on their stomach, and they were kicking them with their foot. So that is where I picked my phone and called the military commander to find out what was happening that his boys are doing that. Then I quickly called the military commander, and he said that, well, he is out of town, but he didn't know what was happening.
So currently, the military, they've beaten you.
Yes.
They've beaten you.
They've beaten me. They pulled us out of our car and beat us. Brutalized us.
So currently, what is your state now?
My head is swallowed and other things. I have some ribs pains and other things. So we are currently receiving treatment here, but we'll soon go back.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. So that was the account of the victim. He said he was pulled out of a car and he was beaten by the military men. And it's rather unfortunate. But let's hear from the reporter on the ground, the journalists. Isaac Abubakar Bipoli is a presenter and reporter with Radio Y in the Upper West region. Isaac, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us on Opposing Views today. Hope you're well.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Isaac, can you paint a picture to us what really happened? We have seen videos, we have heard things, but you are on the ground. You perhaps have a lot more information than what we currently do. So can you share with us what the real situation on the ground is, starting by telling us what happened yesterday?
All right, thank you. Good afternoon to the viewers. What we'll have to say is that yesterday at around 1 p.m., we witnessed the military invading town direct from their barracks. You know, their barracks is located at the Wa Technical University, Dr. Hillier Liman Technical University. That is where their barracks is located. So from that stretch to the main entrance called the Pomo Junction, that was where their van actually dropped them. So starting from that route to the main traffic light was when the incident started. It was around 1 p.m. when they started stopping all the Kambu riders or the tricycle riders, and then people riding motorbike, beating them, and then putting them in gutters. So in drawing closer, some of their comments was what informed us as to the tax. If not initially, people were panicking and calls were running here and there that the military are beating people for not wearing nose masks. So the first impression was that people weren't wearing nose masks because of the COVID. So people rushed to wear their nose mask. But whether you are on nose masks or not, you are still subjected to those beatings. So that is what really happened. But it's from the utterances of one of the military officers that informed us that actually their reason was not with regards to the nose mask, but actually on the mobile phone that was stolen from one of them. So we later on gathered the information from them that yes, on Wednesday, some of the police officers boarded the Kambu, that's the tricycle, or the Pragia, on their way. After they alighted on their camp, they realized that one of them realized that his phone has been left in the Kambu. So he quickly called on the driver to stop, but the driver was moving. So they tried to stop the driver, but the driver moved away. So that provoked them to actually come back to inflict those brutalities on the people of Wa. So the incident lasted for about 30 minutes or so, and then right after that, they went back to their camp again. So that is exactly what happened. But people that were beaten were most of all were included gentlemen riding motorbike, and surprisingly, the pregnant woman was also harassed by the military. This pregnant woman was also carrying 2 children on a motorbike, so they stopped her, they informed her to leave the motorbike, and then later on took the motorbike. When she wanted to advance to take the motorbike, they pushed her away. So these were some of the instances that occurred. And a certain gentleman who was also sent to go and deliver a funeral announcement was also stopped on the way and was also subjected to such beatings. Some of the severe instances that we witnessed was when some gentlemen were being asked to lie down in gutters. So that was one of the bizarre instances that we saw during this attack by the police. But honestly, none of them were holding guns. They were holding either their belts and sticks or using their hand to inflict those pains and other equipment. But I didn't observe them wearing using any physical gun with that action.
All right. Isaac, let me ask this though. So if I understand you correctly, the case is that the police officer had lost his phone in one of these, they call them
the military officer.
Yes, one of these military officers, yes, had left his phone in one of these Pragya vehicles. And by extension, they had decided to return to the town and punish others who were in such vehicles. Not even necessarily the person who took the thing, but provided you are in such a vehicle and you are in such an enclave, you suffer the wrath of somebody.
Exactly. Some of their utterances, if we can quote some of their statements, is that you have been misbehaving for a very long time and we are leaving you. So this time around, we are not going to spare you. You think it's everybody's phone you can steal and go scot-free. These are some of the utterances they were making. So it wasn't as if they were on a hunt for the alleged thief of with regards to their missing phone, but they were just on rampage to brutalize anybody they get on sight, just to serve as a warning, and that was to them. If we try to understand what they were doing, because based on their utterances, these were some of the ways they were using, that it's not everybody's phone that you can steal, or it's not everybody that you can steal from and go scot-free. So we will deal with you mercilessly. So those are some of the utterances they were making while doing this attack. And one of the most surprising things was that when we tried to film them, we were asked not to. So we were warned that we should not try to do this. So actually, this video was...
Okay. Isaacs' line has tripped there. We'll get him back on, but I think we get a fair idea of what it is that happened really on the day. Rather unfortunate though. There's a quick response by the military. They are seeking to help us understand what really happened. And so I think we'll put that on the screen right now, even as I read it verbatim to some point, and then we can rope in our other guests. And then it's issued by the Ghana Armed Forces with the title, Soldiers Involved in the Disturbances at Wa to be Disciplined. It reads, the attention of the Military High Command has been drawn to a video which has gone viral. Now, in this video, some soldiers based in Wa, the regional capital of the Upper West region, are seen molesting civilians in the city without any provocation. This unprofessional conduct took place on Thursday, July 1, 2021, and at a time when the commanding officer of the soldiers and the chairman of the Regional Security Council were both out of town on official engagements. Internal disciplinary measures have been instituted to deal with all those who will be found culpable in this unprofessional conduct by the soldiers. Now, in view of the seriousness of the matter, the Chief of the Army Staff is leading a high-powered military delegation to WA to meet the traditional and opinion leaders to find an amicable way of resolving this unfortunate incident. The delegation will also explore means to assuage the anger of the people and promote good neighborliness. The Ghana Armed Forces once again wishes to assure the people of Wa and the general public that their safety is paramount at all times. As such, would not condone any unprofessional conduct by any member of the force. Signed by Agri Kwashi, Ken Agri Kwashi. He's the Director of Public Relations with the Ghana Armed Forces, and is copied to all media houses in the country. Isaka is back on. I'll just wrap up with him briefly, and then I'll go to some of my guests. But Isaka, so if we understand anything from this very release, it is to suggest that there's a high-power delegation en route to the Upper West region. That is, if they are not already there. Are you aware of any such thing, and what are you picking from their engagement with the chiefs and people of the area?
Well, then the information we are gathering is that some high-ranking military officers will be coming, and their mission, we were told that are to actually apologize to the people of Wa and to those that were actually affected. But their first call, we are told, is to go to the overlord, so they will be going to the overlord of the Wana, that's the Wana, to actually give their sincere apology to that. But on the ground, I must be very honest to tell you that people are not happy with even the information that has come so far. With the note, well, they are a little bit okay, saying that if the perpetrators of these such brutalities will be brought to book, they will be happy. But the context of that apology that they are coming there is not something that they are ready to accept. They actually want justice to be done and not mere apology. So now, if you can see that the town is a bit calm, it's calm, and people are going around doing their normal duties, but people are still starting, the communication still keeps on going, and the fear that the action instilled on the people is actually in, and people are still a little bit scared, but things are moving on normal. But yes, we are still waiting to see how the high-ranking military officers will take matters up.
We're really grateful you took time off to join us on Opposing Views on MX24 today. Isaka Abubakar Bipoli, he's a presenter and reporter with Radio Wa in the Upper West region. He gave us a bit of an update as to the situation on the ground in the Upper West region. Now, I want to read to you something put up by a highly respected journalist in the country, multiple award-winning journalist, Manasseh Azuri-Awene. Now he says, "Good morning, Mr. President. You cannot be calling yourself the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces in a democratic Ghana while the barbarity and stupidity happen every day. Your hands are stained with the blood of the dead and the injured because of your refusal to act and stop them. If the soldiers who killed in Techiman South had been punished, those who opened fire in Idra would have thought twice before pulling the trigger. If the senior military officer who led in the assault of Caleb Kuda hadn't been elevated to a commanding officer of 64 Infantry Regiment, those soldiers who went on rampage in Wa would have thought twice before unleashing brutality on unarmed, non-violent citizens going about their normal duties. Ghanaians are already angry about the economic hardship and the daily mess they are subjected to due to the decades of mismanagement. Don't keep pouring fuel into the fire by allowing the military, so-called national security operatives, and party hoodlums clothed with the power of the state to continue to abuse the citizens you swore to protect. Nothing endangers the security of the nation more than this. We are threatened by terrorism, and if the citizens see the security forces who are supposed to protect them as enemies, we cannot win the war. So act and stop the mindless killings and brutalities." At this juncture, I would like to introduce Manasseh Azuri-Awene. He's a journalist, a freelance journalist, but he also does some work with the Fourth Estate portal. Manasseh, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Chen Chen. Now I'm no longer a freelance journalist.
Right.
With the Fourth Estate full-time. Yes.
Okay, great. That's good to know. And for those of you who have not seen the Fourth Estate, you should check it out. They have some rather compelling stories on that very portal. If you remember the issue of the the church, Dagwood Mills and all, it was that very portal that broke the story and did a bit more series on that also. And so once in a while, you should check it out and get some more updates there. But Manasseh, today we want to pay particular attention to the issue of security in the country and just opposing it with what just happened, because we were reeling from what happened on Wednesday. We are not even done dissecting all the issues in the dry and all of that. And now we are seeing the military, people supposedly clothed with the powers of protecting us, rather being the ones inflicting all of these, okay, let me not use that word, but hurting us in one way or the other. What is your, I don't even know how to put this, but what is your assessment of the state of security in the country now, really?
Well, the state of security as we see it is very terrible. Terrible in a sense that a few weeks ago, there were calls on the police and other security agencies to step up their game and deal with the armed robberies and murders. Then the next moment, those we are asking to protect us now become the very people hurting and killing us. So what do the citizens do? What happened in Wa, I was somewhere, I couldn't speak, so a Facebook friend sent me the message. And her first message was that something is happening in Wa here we don't understand. And I haven't seen something like that before, but it's as if a coup d'etat. This is what the person said. And I said, what happened? Oh, that soldiers had come beating everybody. Nobody seemed to know what they had done. It appeared so weird. And when I finished the program, I saw a missed call. Somebody had called, a brother, my younger brother. He comes after me. He had called whilst I was at the program. So it was later on that I called back only to realize that he himself had been beaten badly and he had bruises on his head all over. And his crime was that he was at the office. He is the Upper West Regional PRO for the Regional Coordinating Council. And so when this happened, and he initially wanted to call the regional minister, but I think the NADMO officer then said, well, this incident looks, or what we are hearing doesn't look real. It may be some fake news. So why don't we go there and ascertain for ourselves what the reality was or is before we can go ahead to escalate this further. And they got there only to realize that this was happening. And the few people they spoke to, he said, didn't even want to mind them. And so they decided to take a bit of evidence. And that was their crime. And they were also beaten back. So sometimes when these things happen and then we talk, I was very vocal on the Tichiman South one. If you look at my Facebook page, I posted not less than 3 or 4 different things about that, and Twitter even more. Sometimes it appears so far away, but I could have lost a brother yesterday, not because he had gone to do anything wrong, because he had gone to work as a citizen of this country, and somebody decided to do something stupid. And today there are people who are saying the word stupid I used was too harsh. But if you go to the families that are nursing injuries, there are people who are injured. Some may have to live with it for the rest of their lives.
That's true.
This week, some people have become orphans just because somebody decided to go and then kill them for no reason. And so if the killings and brutalities, if the word stupid is what people are concerned about, then I may say that is even very mild.
Okay. I hear you loud and clear, and I can relate to an extent. I really understand where this is coming from. When I saw the footage, I don't know, I can't even describe how I felt. Same for the Ejura issue and how military had positioned themselves in such a way that they could aim at people and shoot, as if they were at a shooting range, like shoot to kill of the sort. I'm not too clear, but anyway, Mustafa Ahmed is the NADMO director for the Upper West region. Manasseh just mentioned to you that his brother is one of the persons who were injured in this issue. But Mustafa is one of such people who was also injured. We'll try and get him to give us a bit of an update as to what the situation is with him now. Okay. There's a video we'd like to share with you now. We'll share it briefly, and then we'll come back to Manasseh Winnie and then get Paul Boateng and a few others join us. But if you're watching us at home or in the office or anywhere else, and your views on the state of security in the country today we are giving the platform to you to share those views. We'll open the phone lines. The numbers will be displayed on the screen for you. And I think our voices must be loud enough if we really want to see the change we are hoping for. Myself and a lot of people have made some of these comments on multiple platforms. I'm not sure that anybody wants to make anyone unpopular. We are all here to ensure that our safety is priority, is paramount. Nothing is more important than human lives. And so for people's lives to be lost in such a manner, we cannot sit idle and not talk about it. And so please, if you're home or you're in the office or you're going for lunch and you're keen on sharing your views on this, particularly how to curb this very issue, the numbers will be displayed to you, and then you can do well to share those views. But right now, let's bring you this sound clip. After it, we'll continue with the conversation.
Last night, for us to see a video of people in military uniforms, on the streets of Bois and challenging civilians here and there. And after thorough investigations, we got to know that they were soldiers from the very unit that we have set up over here to protect civilians. So without wasting time at all, the military high command met, and the decision was taken immediately for me to come here, first of all, to apologize for whatever happened, and to tell you that all those involved in this act will be brought to book. They are subject to the military code of service discipline, and we will apply the appropriate sanctions. I want to reassure you that we wouldn't let this singular occurrence mar our relationship at all. The plethora of challenges that we are facing, and now, especially with the asymmetric threats that are emerging, they all call for collaborative effort, community involvement in fighting these threats. We need each other. The civilians need us, the military, we need you. So, as I said, we will not let this singular occurrence mar our relationship in any way. I want to assure you that I'm going to talk to the military personnel here and everywhere in Ghana and let them understand that the modern approach to security issues is the involvement of the communities. If you do that, successes will be guaranteed. And therefore, it is something that we will have to cherish, the military, that we have partners that can help us in defeating terrorism.
Okay, so that was a delegation from the Ghana Armed Forces, which is currently in Wa, to try and deal with the situation which happened yesterday. I picked a few things from what he said. One, that they will not allow this situation to mar the relationship they have with the people. That's very good. Two, all complicit persons will be brought to book. Three, people in military uniform. That's what he said, that the people he saw, they saw a video of people in military uniform. For me, that's a problem. It suggests to me an attempt to perhaps make it seem as though it's possible that not all the people were even military men. But hey, what do I know? Manasseh Azria Winnie is still with us. Manasseh, I know quite a number of you have started calling in. We'll pick your calls soon enough, but let's hear a few more words from Manasseh. Manasseh, we've heard from the delegation that has been sent to maintain the peace and keep the calm. Surely this must be some good move, but is this not the usual? Are we to expect anything really from this? Have we not seen a number of delegations being sent to places, promises being made, and a number of them not being kept?
Well, in my view, the delegation that went to war, that apology is useless until the people are punished. So the only apology the people of war should accept is to get those who did that yesterday punished. Punishing them would then bring back those whose lives have been altered, or those who have been injured, or those who have died in the past as a result of such brutalities. But it would stop that from happening in the future. Comparing the military statement and their action in this case to what happened in Edra, I think this one makes a bit more sense and is a bit more sensitive. If you read the police statement on the Edra issue, you get even angry, trying to deflect the blame and put everything on the youth, that they were rioting and all manner of things. But if you read the military statement, they try to admit wrongdoing and promised action. I get a point you're making when he said they saw people in uniform. I also felt the same way you felt until he added that upon the thorough investigation, they realized that there were soldiers who were sent there to protect the very people they were harming. So this admission for me is a good point to start. But it shouldn't end there because, like you rightly mentioned, a lot of the time, these things come up. They send government delegations to go and meet. As we speak, we are told the vice president is leading a delegation that includes the chief imam and then the national security minister to Edra. They go there, speak very good grammar, have good photo opportunities, and also make political capital. And then it ends there. That for me shouldn't be how this case should be treated. We have to be told that this number of soldiers were found to have gone there and caused the damage they did, and let nobody tell us they couldn't identify them. If these soldiers had gone out there to act in a way that would overthrow the president of the republic, but by now, every single one of them would have been locked up. So for identification, we don't want anybody to come and tell us that we don't know who did that. That would be an insult. But we should be told these are the people who did that, and these are the punishments we meted out based on ABC. And so we can also be witnesses to what happened. And any soldier anywhere, or even a police officer anywhere, knowing that I will not do this and get away with it, we want to be very careful when abusing another person. And like he mentioned, they shouldn't behave as if the soldiers don't need us. The civilians are there to protect the soldiers. The soldiers are also there to protect the civilians. We know what is happening in the sub-region. That these terrorists try to overrun military bases, kill soldiers and all of that, seize their weapons. If the civilians in one know that this is a threat about to happen, or somebody is planning an attack on the military, they should, as citizens, pass on that intelligence to the military. If they are coming to attack civilians, they should pass on that intelligence to the military and the police. So we shouldn't see it as though these are very invincible people, so strong that their lives are even not threatened. Their lives are threatened every now and then. And it would take both the civilians and also the security agencies to protect first the lives of the civilians and also the lives of the security people.
And I say, there's a claim that perhaps because we allow the police to investigate its own and the military to investigate its own, that's how come some of these issues are never really resolved. And so if you leave everything to, say, PIPs to investigate the police or the disciplinary service of, say, the army to investigate their own, most likely the outcome of such investigation may favor their own. Would you say perhaps it's time we reviewed that existing system we've worked with all of these years?
Some people have called for an independent inquiry and a commission of a sort to deal with such matters.
Right.
But I feel that if there is a political will to end this, it will end. If the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces should call the chief of defense staff and say, look, this has been happening, nothing is being done about it. In 10 days, I want a comprehensive action on this and also punishment meted out to those who did that. I can assure you President Akufo-Addo will go to bed and this will be carried out. The orders will be carried out.
Right.
All this continue to happen because anytime it happens, nothing happens to the perpetrators. When people were killed in Kitcheman South, we didn't see anybody suffer for it. When the Adria thing happened, the police statement was very disappointing. But at every point in time, there is somebody who leads the operation, even if the political authority sanctions the operation. The original minister said he sanctioned the Adria one, for instance.
Right.
Among the military, there is a commander, and he knows who does what. And if people are held responsible for the things they do, I'm very sure some of these things will not happen, because a soldier knowing that his colleague is going to jail, his colleague has lost a job because they went out to molest civilians. We are not saying that in carrying out their duties, they will not make mistakes. They are likely to make mistakes, but when they make a mistake, we know, and we can understand, and we can forgive them.
Right.
But to go out there and begin to beat civilians you see just because you lost a phone, I don't think mad people should even be tolerated if they do this.
Manasseh, many thanks for your time on Opposing Views today. Manasseh Zuriawone is a renowned journalist, multiple award-winning journalist. He's been Journalist of the Year on at least 2 occasions. He's also with the Fourth Estate. You heard him there with those views. We won't speak to any more guests. We are leaving the forum open to you, those of you watching us. The numbers are 055 033 1511, 055 033 1511, and 020 473 8481, 020 473 8481. Daite is calling us from Aflao now. Daite, good afternoon. Daite, good afternoon.
Thank you. Calling in respect to what is happening with motherland Ghana, the security state of which we are. Right. Just want Ghanaians to be patient with the government, especially the security. But there is something that is lacking. We have been talking about the Ejura incident. That the police or the forces are telling us that they were being attacked. If we go back to the video, at the moment the soldiers saw their car, what happened with the population? They were running. Not up to 3 seconds. They started firing, aiming at civilian population. The security or the Filipino, this is what happened. We all saw the moment they dropped from the car. The population, the youth were running. Now it has happened. Where are we heading? They are putting the blame on the individual. If that is not enough, yesterday, the war incident, my fellow brothers and sisters in Ghana.
Right.
What I want to say is, the government or the security agency in Ghana cannot do something with people.
Okay.
They won't be able to bring it to
Daite, thank you. We are really grateful you took time off to join us for today's show. Daite called us from Aflao. Let's go to Salaga now. Sule is on the line. Sule, hi, good afternoon. How are you doing? Sule, good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm good, my brother. Good afternoon.
Let's hear you.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yes, Sule, let's hear you.
Yeah, I don't even know how to start. In fact, I am extremely angry, extremely sad, and completely disappointed in our president. Look, if he feels safe with his family, we want him to know that some of us are not safe on the streets. We can't call ourselves safe in this country when people we pay with our taxes and buy guns for them go out there and attack us and kill us, and he feels that there's nothing happening. The tension in this country is getting out of hand. We want him to understand that if this country breaks, we will hold him responsible. And the leaders of this country who are failing to tell or speak truth to power, the hypocrites and parasites, must know that if this country goes down, all of us will go down. Countries like Liberia, Egypt were extremely peaceful countries until excesses when the citizens could no longer bear it. If we can't bear it anymore and something happens to this country, tell the president he's the one we hold responsible.
Okay, Sule, thank you very much for your views. Sule called us from Salaga. Musa is joining us from Moa. Musa, good afternoon.
Good morning, brother.
Musa, let's hear you.
Even yesterday, it's like we are dealing with, like, maybe sometimes it's no good. You don't know what we did. You just between us. Like, like, if we also, I don't know how to say, how much I guess.
Right. Let's stay in Wa. Edward is still there. Edward is also there. He's going to share his views with us. Edward, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let's hear you, Edward.
Okay, please. What I want to say is like in Ghana, everything we politicize it. Someone just called and was saying the happiness, he's blaming the president or something. No, like you can't just blame the president for everything. I think the commander in charge should be blamed because he can command them or he can control the activities of the military men. So if you call and say that like the president should be held responsible or something, I'm not in agreement with him because the president is not in war. To control the affairs of the military men in war. Right. So is the commander who is supposed to be held accountable of everything. That's my view now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Edward, many thanks for joining us. Edward joined us from WA with those perspectives. You can keep your calls coming. 055-033-1511, 055-033-1511, and 020-473-8481. 020-473-8481. Abdullah Abubakar is also joining us from WA. Abdullah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, boss.
Let's hear you,
Thank
Abdullah.
you for this opportunity.
Right.
In fact, what is happening nowadays in this country is worrying. This is not what we expect the military to be doing. What they did is totally something that they are trying to allow that they were warning us because they are giving the terrorists the chance to do this. As they are doing, they are watching. And what they are doing is going to cause a lot of people. Now the civilians, if we also stand out there, because we have to fight for our rights, protect us. We have to protect ourselves. This army, look, me in particular, it was my wish to be an army officer. The main reason was to put my life for the people, but not for myself. But what you're doing is like you're rather attacking with the people instead of to protect. Please, you need to go up.
Right.
I have cried to the government to stop this. If not, what will happen? It will not be good. Okay. What is happening now is worrying us seriously.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for those views. But let me put on record that as much as possible, we have to exercise restraint. Government is intervening in the situation, particularly because they do not want the situation to de-escalate, to escalate to a certain point. And so as much as possible, let's keep our composure, let's remain calm and trust that the authorities will ensure that whatever has to happen will happen. Razak is joining us from Tamale. We have a bit of an update, though. We'll bring that to you in a short while. But let's hear from Razak, who is in Tamale and is joining us now via phone. Razak, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, brother.
Razak, let's hear your views.
Yeah. What I want to say is that it's like things are getting out of hand. It's like our security has taken the laws into their own hands.
How do you think we can curb this situation?
I think our political leaders have to do something.
Okay.
So that things will get to the right direction.
Okay. Razak, many thanks for that update. We'll be going to Sule in a short while, but let's take a bit of an update from Isaka Abubakar Abipoli. He's with Radio Wa in the Upper West region. Isaka, you said there's a bit of an update you need to share with us. Can you kindly give us what that information is? Because we've gotten the information that at least the team has arrived, they've met with the delegation and the like. What more is happening?
Yes, as it stands now, the team of the high-ranking military staff has arrived in the region. They were being led by the Major General Thomas Opon Pepra. Major General Thomas Opon Pepra, he led the team. So first of all, they went to the regional minister, Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali, and then that was where the conversation actually started, and that was where the excerpt of the video was being played on this same channel. But they later on moved with the regional minister to the Wanas Palace, that's the overlord, Wanas Seidu Fuseni Pelpo the Fifth. So the interaction there was that it was same. They expressed their remorse, apologized to the overlord, and promised that the perpetrators of that brutality were going to be punished according to the military disciplinary procedures. So in response, the overlord, Wana Fuseni Pelpo, also expressed his discomfort, if I may say, and his unhappiness, because he said he's not happy, he wasn't happy with the act that actually occurred, and he said it directly to the Major General that what their boys really did made him unhappy, and that he's also ready to receive the information that the perpetrators are actually brought to book. So that was what the overlord also stated, and that's really what happened currently as we are speaking.
Okay. All right, Isaka, thank you very much for that update. Isaka just brought us a bit more updates as to what is happening in Wa right now. Stay tuned to MX24 because later tonight we'll bring you a lot more as we gather a lot more information on the development. Let's go back to the phone lines, and Abdul Malik has been on the line for quite a while. He's joined us now from Tamale. Abdul Malik, good afternoon.
How are we?
We are very well, hopefully. I think we should be better soon enough, but let's hear your views now.
Yeah, in fact, I'm totally disappointed in voting for Akufo-Addo. I'm still praying to God that God should forgive me for voting for Akufo-Addo. Because this government promised us that he will protect our lives, he will protect public life. But now, look at what is happening in this country. Are they thinking, don't they think that anything can happen in Ghana here? You are killing people on the roadside. If they stole your phone, go and look for that person. But don't go to the roadside and then start beating people. Look at what they do to the innocent people on that gutter there. What is that? So may God save this country.
Right. Thank you.
That's all that I have.
Thank you for your call. Sule is calling us from Takrade. Sule, good afternoon.
No, I'm Felix.
I'm Felix.
Yeah,
okay, Felix. Good afternoon. Let's hear you, Felix.
Yeah, good afternoon. And MSC is doing a wonderful job. Yeah. When you watch the video, you see it's disgusting. And I was asking myself, are these military Ghanaians? What at all has been done? You see, when you watch the video, the way they are slapping the inside the gutter. My brother, if this thing has not happened to you, you wouldn't feel it. And this is so provoking. Is it because you are wearing military uniform, so therefore you can take the law into your hands and just do anything? Oh, this is serious. My brother, this is unacceptable. And if they are supposed to be punished, we civilians, the kind of punishment given to these people. I heard somewhere they are saying they are newly recruited personnel, they have been sent over there. At the time they were leaving the camp or wherever they were coming from, moving any supervisor over there. What? Sir, this thing is serious. Right. If you haven't encountered such things, you wouldn't feel it. You wouldn't know how it is. And it's so provoking. Me, I'm in Insecurity. I was just putting myself inside those people who are being brutalized. Matter, may God have mercy on us.
Thank you, Felix. Seiram is joining us from Akimoda. Seiram, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Seiram, let's hear you.
Yes. All I want to ask. Afternoon. All I want to say is that a time will come when this thing will continue in a serious way. Because a time will come, the citizens will try to resist the attack by the military. And when it happens that way, then there is going to be a serious problem in the country. People who are to support us, let's say the court, who is there as a third organ of this nation to support the civilians, they rather, when you take your case to the court, their conscience will be sold to the politicians. So all they will do is to throw your case away. I am begging the commander-in-chief. I am begging the commander-in-chief to rise up. He should reason up. Because what is happening, we are not safe in this country.
Seiram, thank you for your call.
The people are not safe. I am not safe. You are not safe.
Right, Seiram, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's Seiram who joined us from Akimoda. We have a caller from the Upper West region. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Chief, your name and, your name exactly.
Paul from Upper West region.
Okay, right. Paul, let's hear you.
The video you are seeing on your screen right now, that one is not nothing. You need to find more videos about what happened. Though you know the military people are very foolish in the Upper West region.
I see. So the situation is worse than we are seeing.
Very foolish thing. I regretted voting for Nana Akufo-Addo.
Okay. That was Paul from the Upper West region, suggesting that what we are seeing perhaps may be a tip of the iceberg and that there may be a lot more videos which may not be so good. Vitalis is joining us from WA, also in the Upper West region. Vitalis, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother.
The
video you are watching right now, the military people, the kind of thing they are doing in the region is not good at all. They come to your bar, buy a drink, and you will not pay. Enter Mama can book your name as yellow. When you ask them for your money, they start beating you up. And I don't think they are just misbehaving, doing things anyhow. What kind of life is that?
Okay, so you are citing abuse of power by these military officers in that
They are
locality.
just doing things anyhow in the region.
Okay.
They pay, they enter the camp, they don't pay, they just do anything anyhow.
Okay. All right.
What kind of thing is that?
Good. We'll follow up on that allegation. But thank you very much, Vitalis. Peter is joining us from Tamale. Peter, good afternoon. Peter from Tamale. Peter, good afternoon. Okay. We lost Peter there. We'll take our last caller and then we'll wrap up today's show. The voices have been loud enough, I would like to think. The authorities have been working, we have been told. We've seen footage of that as well. And we are hoping that the situation gets better with time. But in all of this, I would urge calm as we try to deal with all of the situations here. I would urge calm on our parts, because two wrongs, they say, do not make a right. So if one party, in this instance the military, may have erred, or some people in the military have erred, as much as possible, let us exercise restraint and trust that the leadership will do what is right to protect you and I. We'll pick our last caller from Pokwase, who is joining us now. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
The name, please.
I am called Enoch.
Enoch from Pokwase. Enoch, let's hear you.
Calling rather from Fukuraso, but not Pokwase.
Oh, okay. Kukuraso, right. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I think what is happening is really uncalled for. What is happening is really uncalled for. And for that matter, they have to look at it at very close range and take some measures of all we all know. And what is happening, we employ the military just to protect us, but not rather to push us to the war and begin by trying to throw sticks and other things on us. Okay. And before you get into it to know, it is the DSS graduates that they have brought as the military men are doing all those things. So they got to be very careful what is going on. And they are calling war, which we don't want to encounter with any war in this country. That's fine. So they got to be very careful on what they are doing.
Enoch, thank you very much for your call. We'll take our last caller from the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I missed your name, please.
I'm Prince.
Prince from Kumasi. Prince, let's hear you.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Please, I'm Prince from Kumasi.
Let's hear you, Prince.
Yeah, it's good that you are showing this kind of video. Indeed, I recall some events back when such brutalities happened in Kumasi. There's been several occasions that we've witnessed it, or we've had an occasion that the military or being the police, pouring such a conduct on the people of this nation. And I think it's not appropriate. But we should take note. Let's stop apportioning blame on politicians. Right. This is not a political issue or political matter. There should be a concrete law which will deal with such matters. Of course, hearing from you, there's been many of the callers calling in from the northern sector, which is good. But I expect some high-profile personnel from the northern Ghana to come out and then challenge the issue. For example, Mr. Speaker is there. Let's talk about the president or being the vice or whoever. Let those people come out so that we can see that there are high-profile personnel from northern Ghana living in Accra or anywhere else in this nation or in this country, coming out to challenge this issue. These people should be held. It's not something that they have to hide the punishment that they are going to unleash on them. For example, look at the one in the gutter. See how he's slapping the guy.
Prince.
Can you imagine?
Thank
See
you.
how he's slapping. The
Prince.
person has already submitted.
Right.
He's down already. And look at how he's treating him. It's not fair.
Thank you, Prince.
Thank you, my brother.
For your views today. That was Prince joining us from the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. He's going to be our last caller. We thank him for calling. And thank you, too, for those of you watching us from elsewhere at home, in the communities, perhaps even in the Upper West region. We thank you for all of those views. If you have a lot more information to share with us, feel free to call the lines you called a short while ago, and our producers will be on standby to take additional information, which will, of course, verify, corroborate, and if true, put out there and share with the rest of the world in our subsequent bulletins, most importantly on our news. But that's it for today's show on Opposing Views. My name is Kwabena Chencheni Boateng. I'm grateful you took time to watch us today. Like I keep saying, let's keep the peace and let's trust the process and trust that the system will work in our interests. I'll see you on Monday.
We see an opportunity for MTN to play a pivotal role in shaping the next phase of growth for MSMEs in the new normal. And this, we know, will not only create scale and growth for MSMEs, but also jobs and wealth for many Ghanaians. Indeed, one of the key objectives for setting up MTN Business was to create telecom solutions as a platform for growth for businesses in Ghana. In the 10-year journey of the MTN Enterprise Business Function, we've created unlimited opportunities for both small entrepreneurs, MSMEs, large corporate institutions, while driving digital inclusiveness. The many testimonials we have received over the years confirm this. Today, with the emergence of AFCFTA, the African Free Trade Agreement or Free Trade Area, and the recognition that we now live in a global village, MSMEs in Ghana can no longer only focus on their immediate geography, but are required to adapt and scale to be competitive in markets outside our borders. MSMEs must be ready to compete with companies outside Ghana and can no longer only think local.